Remember when that was huge? You remember when everyone was dabbing?
It is still so huge for YouTube culture. My kids do it all the damn time.
I do it all the time still. Like whenever the rush is over, I'm just like, yeah, like we just did it. You know, it's fun to do. Do it, Ryan. Do a dab.
I think I'm all right. I think what the funniest thing about it is all of the old people that can't figure out like the actual mechanics of just moving two arms and I love starting a stream like this. What's going on, Jesse? I'm so glad you're here tonight. It has been an interesting week. Antoine, my friend, and Dustin. Everybody's just happy to be here, and I'm so glad to see everybody.
I'm happy to be here, dude.
It's been a couple weeks. What the hell's going on?
Well, you want to hear a funny non-movie related story?
No.
Okay. Well, never mind.
So what'd you watch lately? Yeah, so what happened? Tell me about it.
So there's this thing called Fight Camp, and it's basically Peloton for boxing, but it's like $1,200. It comes with the base, the punching bag. It's got trackers you put into your wrist wraps, and then gloves, and it tracks your punches. I don't have $1,200 to blow on something like that, so I just happened to look on Facebook Marketplace. I just typed in punching bags because I don't have one at my house, and someone was selling a Fight Camp for $200, and I was like, okay, there's got to be a catch. So I messaged them, and they seemed like it was a nice lady, and she's like, yeah, if you can come pick it up, it's yours for $200. And I'm like, all right. So I get there, and the reason why it was so cheap is because the base weighed 400 pounds of sand. So she's like, if you can get this into your car, you can have it for $200. And I was like, deal. And I did, and then I had to carry it upstairs, and my back is hurting because of that.
You shouldn't live on the 6th floor.
I live on the 2nd, so still a lot of stairs. So
yeah,
I did. We got it all set up. Did my first workout today. After I went and did real boxing, I came home and did a session on Fight Camp, and it's a workout, man. It's a workout. I threw 969 punches in 20 minutes. Arms are absolutely shot. But yeah, I'm gonna keep. There's like achievements. So it's getting into that thing in my reptilian brain where it's like I have to, you know.
It's like a game.
So wait, is that really happening?
I have no idea. I don't follow Domino's corporate news.
Fun fact about Italy is that their pizza over there is vastly different from American pizza. Some of my relatives over there opened up a restaurant called American Pizza, and it's a hit. People are like, oh my god, it's so good. So yeah, the pizza industry over there is weird. It's very weird. But that's my non-movie related story.
Well, I'm glad you got it. Is that the one that's like in videos everywhere with the 4 circles that come in the middle or whatever that tell you which one to hit? Have you seen that?
No, that one I don't understand how the practicality for actual boxing would come into place because you're just hitting circles. This one is just a normal. It looks like a normal punching bag, but the big thing is the trackers you put in your wrist wraps, and it counts. It counts like how fast you throw. Like it said, I threw an 8-mile-per-hour punch. Was like my fastest punch or my power output or whatever. And then there's leaderboards. You can have a family sharing thing. So Taylor's got her own app. And you can like compete with friends and stuff. So, but it's basically just like there's a guy on screen, and then you got like your stats at the bottom. It'll have like your heart rate, how many punches you're throwing, what's the average of people who have thrown punches in that session, and it'll tell you if you're doing better or not. And then it'll have like a goal in the top right corner. So it's like every round, your goal is to throw like 150 punches or something. And then once you hit that, you hear ding, and there's a guy just telling you what to do. It's like, you know, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, you know, just all that stuff. So it's really cool.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. Definitely glad I picked it up for $200 and not $1,200.
Yeah, that's a bit of a difference. I mean, a
Huge
sixth of the original price is a pretty nice discount.
I think most of the price is the tech and the trackers. Like
I'm sure it is
because it's just a normal bag and a normal stand. So it's got to be. And then the service is $40 a month. So But you get kickboxing, boxing, ab workouts, strength training. Like there's a bunch of shit on there, so it's awesome.
Yeah, if that's your thing, I mean that's definitely worth it. It sounds like. Yeah, here I just got done with the week of birthdays. It was my sister-in-law's birthday earlier in this month, and then my sister came up here for a week, which she was on the stream 2 weeks ago, and then just about a week ago it was my youngest birthday, and then yesterday was my wife's birthday, and now I filed for bankruptcy, and they are coming to seize my home. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought you were serious. I was like, oh shit.
No, it's just August is always like everything at once. I mean, last year, while all of that was going on, I had to replace my air conditioner and furnace. There's always something. This year, I gotta do registration on both cars. My wife has to replace her license. We need all kinds of stuff around the house.
My license expired in January. I haven't replaced it, and my sticker on my car has been outdated since last year. So,
my wife and I have been playing this game because here in Kansas City, something odd is going on where temporary tags are just never being pulled over or cited or anything like that. So we're taking pictures of the oldest one that we can find and send them to each other. We got one the other day that was from 2019 that had expired.
Damn.
And that's just
here.
That is really pushing your luck.
I think at that point they make you just get a whole new license plate, don't they? Like at a certain point, it's like.
Well, these are the temp ones that are literally like a paper license plate. So they're waiting for you to pay a fee to get the real license plate.
What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Flickering? Here in Illinois, they pushed, because of COVID, they pushed license renewal dates to the end of July. So if your license expired in 2020, 2021, or beginning of 2022, you had till the end of July of this year. So I'm a couple weeks behind. But the DMV, dude, okay, so there's a DMV that's 10 minutes away, and it is a clusterfuck to go to. Like, it is, it's the biggest one in the area. And then there's one where my grandparents live, but that's like 30-ish minutes away. But they close at like a really early hour. So it's like I have to get up early, go there. And if I'm in that town, I'm going to have to go see my grandparents. So, or my grandmother. But yeah, adult shit sucks. It sounds like your August is our late January or February, because it's my wife's birthday, my birthday, my mom, my grandmother, my daughter's birthday, all within a month period. It's crazy.
It is so much. And then just like Terry said here, being a good gift giver can be pricey without reality sticking its nose in. And that's what I've always prided myself on, that, trying to do what I can to get thoughtful gifts and decent gifts.
Why don't you just tell your wife? Why don't you just say, hey, I'm gifted enough. You got a roof over your head? Yeah? You drive a car?
That only worked the first 11 times.
Where'd you guys go on your date?
Which one? When are we talking?
You guys went on I saw your wife tag you on Facebook.
Oh, on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. I bought my wife tickets for a comedy show in January that was supposed to happen in March, and that was for our anniversary, which was in February. And they delayed the show, and it happened to be 2 days before her birthday. So I said, hey, this is still a present, and I'm just making it count for this next holiday. So we went and saw Ron Funches.
Okay, Ron's funny as fuck.
Funny as hell, yeah. It was a great night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Sorry. My best friend used to peel off his registration sticker and paint it the color to the most recent magic marker of the year. You know what? So a friend who used to be a cop in town here, he's a cop in a different town now. In Illinois, they used to have a serial number at the bottom of your registration sticker, and it tied it to your license. They don't have that anymore. So he's like, hey, if you see a car, just peel the sticker off. He's like, no one will know.
Yep. There is when I was in California, they used to tell people
crimes.
In California, they used to tell people to take a razor blade and make an X in your sticker. That way they can't just easily come and peel it off.
That's smart. That's smart. Well, hopefully the person I steal the sticker from doesn't do that.
What about some movie stuff? Have you been watching anything in the last couple of weeks?
I've been watching a lot of 30 for 30s. Just
Nice.
I don't like even stuff I'm not even interested in. Like they're so well made. I'm just like, huh. I could care two shits less about baseball, and I'm like, whoa, baseball's sick. So I've been watching a lot of those. I do gotta say I watched the one on No Mas, which is the Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard fight. They fought once. Roberto Duran absolutely destroyed him, and then they fought again, and Roberto Duran quit in the middle of the fight. He just goes, no mas. He was like, no more. But the whole point of the documentary was like those two had never spoken or seen each other since that fight, but they fought a third time. The documentary completely skips over that and makes it seem like this meeting was like the big meeting since No Mas. And then it's like, no, they fought literally again a year later. And so it seemed like a pointless thing to do. So I did watch Carter on Netflix, director of The Villainess, which is an Arrow release, and it's a very good movie. This movie is it's fucking crazy. Villainess is a little bit more art housey. Like there are moments where it's like I could see that movie potentially getting like a Criterion Collection release. Like it's like on that line of like action, but also some very like nice drama and stuff.
Right.
Carter, on the other hand, is all in one take, and it is every idea that you could possibly imagine in a movie. There's a zombie infection. There's a girl that he has to go and rescue because she has the cure for it in her body. North Korea is trying to get her because it takes place in Korea. It's all over the place. But some of the most insane action shots I've seen ever. My Ice, who's on stream a lot of the times, he pointed out a few things that made him upset about the movie, where it's just like things look cool just to look cool. There's no substance to it. It's just to look kick-ass. Right. I'm fine with that. That movie perfectly it's not a good movie per se. Like if you go in and you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch this movie and try to take something from it, it's literally just spectacle for spectacle's sake, and it works. I think it works perfectly. I had a blast with it. I'm gonna watch it again. Sean and I were supposed to do a podcast, but he was having internet problems today, so we didn't end up doing it. But we're gonna do it next week, hopefully. We're gonna dive into it a little bit more. But just some crazy scenes where it's like, how do they do that in one take? And Eric, you're absolutely wrong. Do you see Eric's comment?
That's why I just highlighted it for you. Yeah,
Eric, you're a bad man, Eric.
You brought up baseball. I wanted to shout out somebody real quick, if that's okay. Are you're lagging a little bit? Did you hear that?
I am lagging a little.
So one of the viewers of the channel who does not get to watch a whole lot in the summer because of what he does for a living has been getting a lot of attention these last couple weeks. And with you bringing up baseball, it's the perfect time to talk about it. One of the patrons of the channel is John DeMarsico, who is the director for the SNY New York Mets broadcast team. And he has made baseball one of the most incredible things to watch lately, specifically for Mets fans. He has done things like put the Kill Bill filter, as they're calling it, over their manager's face and showing replays of previous times that their team got hit by pitches this year while playing the sound from Kill Bill. The other day, they did a Wizard of Oz take where they followed one of their relievers coming into the stadium to pitch, and it was black and white until he stepped onto the field, and the whole thing turned to color immediately. He has done things that are complete references to Scorsese works, to Corbucci works, to all kinds of things that are just getting him this crazy, incredible appreciation from people that are like, you are making baseball into this cinematic spectacle that is genuinely what we've wanted for a long time. And one of the things about baseball is that there's not obviously there's a lot of speed and you got to be a great athlete, but it's not football where people are running at 23 miles an hour on every play or something like that. There's
no one's getting CTE in baseball.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but not very often. But there's actual like drama. That there are individuals that hate each other and they'll stare down the pitcher, and there are things that you can do to make it look more cinematic. And my dude got an article in the New York Times written about him today. And
that's wild.
That sort of
Congrats
thing
to him.
Is such an incredible thing. Just wanted to bring it up because it's so great what film and cinema can do for so much across the board. And I mean, Chester's right. The Mets are doing much better than they ever are at this time of year. And I say that as somebody from Kansas City who beat the Mets the last time they played in the World Series in 2015. They're killing it this year. And yeah, he is making it so much better and getting a fan base completely behind a team that really pisses everybody off every year. All of their fans are always like left behind and screwed over, but they're killing it this year. You are way behind, it looks like. All right. So I'm going to talk about a couple of my recent watches then, since the last time we streamed. One of them, I finally saw Pixar's Lightyear, and I got to be honest, not a huge fan. It was okay. I feel, wow, there are two of you. Let me remove this one.
That's too many flips. One's enough. Could you imagine two?
No, thank you. I watched Lightyear, did not love it.
I saw that. I was like, whoa, you gave it a low rating. Okay.
I thought the animation was good, and the voice acting was actually really great for that film. But man, they just needed a much, much better script. I thought that it could have been so much better than it was.
Did you catch Buzz is slightly racist in that movie?
No.
In the trailer, he talks to a black woman, and then the next time he sees another black woman, he asks her if she's the previous black woman. So Buzz Lightyear cannot tell black people apart.
It's the only people on the planet.
Yeah, but
I rewatched I Know What You Did Last Summer. Pretty timely with
the original.
With Anne Heche passing away this week. Was an interesting time to watch that. I Know What You Did Last Summer is okay. I don't know if it holds up real great. I think it's one of the lesser late 90s, early 2000s slashers that just kind of went all down the same path. Obviously, Kevin Williamson had his hand on all kinds of things from Scream that helped with some of the other major ones around there. But I still prefer like Urban Legend, I think is great for back then. I still like Valentine, to be honest. And that's just naming Jamie Blank's movies at this point. But yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think is decent, but it could have been so much better. I really want to watch that new series that they did.
There's a I Know What You Did Last Summer series?
Yeah, I believe it was an Amazon series, and I think it's only been one season so far. It's supposed to be decent, but I mean, if the original movie was just decent, I'm hoping that this could be even better. Then the last one that I wanted to highlight, which is we've been kind of highlighting one release each time that we talked on this. I really wanted to get people hyped up and possibly ready to buy in the Black Friday sale from Severin, The Killing of America, if you have never seen it.
Never heard of that.
It is a documentary essentially on the violence in America pre like 1981. Yeah, it's a 1981 film. So it's basically from like the late 50s to about 1980 that they really highlight everything. And there's some like they showed like the JFK assassination tape. They show some of the Vietnam footage. They show some of the, that's when we first started having like serial killer culture really cropping up. And
Bundy,
yeah,
John Wayne Gacy.
I mean, you get footage from those people. And
who's your favorite serial killer?
Ooh, it's a great question.
It's a weird question to ask too. Like, who's your favorite?
It's sad that a lot of people. I mean, there's like a go-to answer for it though, and I don't know. Like BTK is kind of incredible considering how close to me he is.
He almost got away with it.
He could have if he didn't have
He
a
could have
freaking
if he didn't
ego.
just sit at a floppy disk. Like what
Yep.
BDK is interesting because like he had a whole like it's weird. I find it interesting when serial killers have families.
Yep.
Like, and like his daughters were like, "Oh, he was a great dad." It's like Albert Fish is definitely, I would say, not underrated. That's a weird thing to say about a serial killer, but like when it comes to like just how disgusting a human can be, Albert Fish isn't talked about enough.
Right.
I think he is probably the nastiest dude out there. Yeah. And he's in at the beginning of House of Thousand Corpses to tie it back in the movies. Albert Fish. Like, yeah. So.
Any recent pickups that you want to highlight or go deep dive into something?
I got a signed boxing glove from my favorite active boxer. That's about it.
Aren't most boxers active?
No, I'm talking about like people that are alive. Oh, you fucker. I mean, Butterbean.
Dude, he's doing a comedy show here at the same place I saw Ron Punches. He's
He
coming
looks
like
good. He's also a bunch of weight.
3 weeks from now.
He looks great. No pickups. Yeah, weird. I haven't gotten anything. Tiger Cage. I got the Tiger Cage trilogy. I think that's the only thing that I've gotten since we've spoken. The first movie's phenomenal. Great film. Yoon Woo Ping, fight choreographer, Matrix and Kill Bill, directed these movies. First one is fantastic. Very brutal in the killings. Like, very brutal. I feel like if horror fans aren't into action movies or Hong Kong cinema, you can go into the first one and be like, damn, those are some nasty kills. So I would recommend that. But yeah, no pickups besides that.
I just got in one that everybody that is a fan of Asian cinema has been talking about, and I'm super stoked on The Seventh Curse. This release, I mean, this has been like the most popular thing that everybody's been talking about for like the last month. I have never seen it. I would show more of it, but funny enough, I didn't realize that there was so much nudity on their advertisements. So when I first opened it up, like, it's pretty blatant, and it's there. I'm certainly eager to see this one. This has gotten some of the better reviews for a release for the entire year.
It's a great movie. I think you're gonna be blown away.
There's been a lot this year that has blown me away quite a bit, actually. So I think it's been a pretty decent year for
that. Eric says we need the Cat to get the same release, same director of Seventh Curse and Ricky O. So
I thought that got announced.
The Cat got announced?
I thought that it had, or maybe it was teased for something.
Huh. When can we expect Scream to release the Friday 13th 4K box set?
Sorry to say, Dylan, Scream Factory will not be putting out a Friday the 13th 4K box set. That box set that they put together is essentially, just like the Halloween box set that they did, it is almost an impossibility that it exists in its form that it's in. The fact that they then announced the first couple in 4K that are coming out this fall, I would not be surprised if we saw the first 4. I think it's Paramount owning the first 4, and then what is it? Jason Goes to Hell. I think there's like 6 that they own. I would not be surprised to see the ones that already had a 4K scan get a 4K release there, but they're not going to be able to get 4K rights for all of those films. I mean, they can't do it for Halloween, and they're not even going to be able to release the Rob Zombie Halloweens because they've already changed hands on the licensing side since they released that original box set.
Love Rob Zombie. Eric says we need a Nightmare on Elm Street box set.
We do, and I am kind of shocked that we haven't had any sort of upgrade from them in years at this point.
I have the DVD box set from back in the day.
It is essentially it's about on par with the Blu-ray box set. So
I asked that for Christmas when I was like 15. My mom bought it for me.
Most of the films in that series are in desperate need of a new restoration. They did not look great on Blu-ray. So.
I'm a Freddy guy. Freddy's my dude. Freddy vs. Jason, that needs a 4K. I'm not joking. I fucking
it's a good movie.
I love that movie.
I am shocked that we have gone 12 years with literally nothing from the Nightmare on Elm Street camp. And I'm not even just talking about new films. Like Friday the 13th, I mean, they at least put out a video game and new restorations, new releases since then.
And that last movie was good.
Yeah. And that, I mean, I think that was 2009 for the remake. It's great.
I was in high school still, yeah. Yeah. 2009.
Only other pickup, very much changing the mood of what we're talking about there with the slashers. I was lucky enough, like I talked about on here, to go and see a John Waters double feature at the New Bev when I was in California, and so I got in Pink Flamingos from Criterion, and I'd watched this. But what's funny, I had already had this release. I got this in primarily because it is autographed by John Waters. I also have, and now an autographed version of Polyester from John Waters. There is a company called Atomic Books that is out of Florida that they do autographed items, kind of like Dark Delicacies in Hollywood, but they ship all over.
That's a good name for a company, Dark Delicacies.
Yep.
It's a great name.
It was a great store. So Atomic Books in Florida, they do all kinds of stuff like this. They had a handful of John Waters things in, and I just got these two. But Polyester is, I still say, by far John Waters' best film. It's not even really a competition. There's still a couple of the newer ones that I haven't seen yet, but I mean, nobody is running to put out a modern release of Pecker, and I don't know how. I think it would sell very well. Pink Flamingos is good. The Criterion release looks great. I don't think it held up for me as much as I remember enjoying it. But it's John Waters, and he knew what he was doing, and he's one of the best of all time.
I forgot to say, the guy, speaking of horror movies, the husband of the woman I bought the Fight Camp from, he had a full sleeve of horror movie tattoos. Nice. He had Jigsaw, Jason, Freddy, and then on his elbow, he had these big fangs, like as a mouth, and he was like, I don't know what character, but he's like, it's someone's mouth from the Lost Boys poster. And just fucking awesome. The Trick or Treat dude, like, it was a cool sleeve. It was really cool.
I agree with Sardis. Sardis says it's hard to believe we are covering up breast at the same time they advertise razors to shave your balls on television. Yeah.
Manscaped.
America kind of sucks for that.
When I went to Sicily last, where I was 13, I was watching just normal TV, and there was just commercials with tits on them, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude! Europe rocks."
I totally forgot to show this. The Polyester poster on the inside is also signed, so technically, I've got 3 things here signed by him.
Damn, I like John Waters.
Came with the Odorama card for Polyester and everything.
What's that? What kind of smells are on there?
Gosh, do they label them? I don't think they do. No. Chilling.
I mean, if you want to get more fancy, my family owns a house in Sicily, so we just stay there. But my grandmother just got back. They had to go and evict the people because they haven't been over there in years, so they rented the house out. The people just quit paying rent years ago. And with my grandfather dying and then with COVID, we couldn't go over there. So my grandmother went over there and had to evict these people out of her house. And it sucks because they were like family friends, like for decades. And then they just decided to take advantage of my grandmother. You fancy ass. Fuck you, John. I love you. Squatters' rights. There's no such thing as that in Sicily. It's like, get the fuck out.
Flickering Waves just let me know that Atomic Books is actually based out of Baltimore, where John Waters is from, not Florida. I think my shipment came from Florida, which is really odd.
Baltimore seems like a really shithole town.
I imagine so. I've only seen The Wire. I've never been there.
Did you watch We Run the City?
No.
Well, you haven't seen that?
No. I don't think so. What is it?
It's the same team as The Wire did a show on HBO this year, I think, called We Run the City. John Berthnall is the star, and it's fucking phenomenal, dude. Yeah, it's short. I think it's like 6 episodes.
Are they done?
It's done. It told a real story. It's like a true story, and it's fucking. It was so good. I was like riveting. Like the way they tell it too is like they're jumping back in time and forward in time. It's just absolutely. Mike, is this the same Michael who's a Steelers fan on Facebook?
I mean that
Steelers, by the way, look great. See, Baltimore is like Pittsburgh, but with more crack. You know what I mean? Like, Flip didn't pick up the Heat 4K. Nah. I've heard mixed things. I've heard weird things. I've heard people say it's like Brian and I talked about this. I've heard people say it's shit, and then I've heard people say it's really, really good. But I'm probably gonna pick up Heat 2 when I finish learning how to read. Steelers look great this year, dude. Michael and I talked about it a little bit briefly on Facebook, but they have 3 quarterbacks that all looked. It's the preseason, so it doesn't really count, but all 3 of them look solid. But man, Heat 2. Did you read the reviews of Heat 2?
Seems to be doing really well.
Man, dude, it sounds good, and he's gonna make. Apparently, he's gonna make it. He wants to make it. I don't know how they're going because apparently Val Kilmer's character goes to South America and like hooks up with like a cartel down there. So I don't know how they're gonna do that when Val Kilmer, can't speak.
Terry says, I went there for a weekend. He's talking about Baltimore. Definitely some areas of the city that you want to avoid, but I love a lot of music from there, so I'm glad I went.
Baltimore is great.
There's probably a lot of cities I could make that exact same statement about.
That's true. Chicago. Chief Keef. Oh, man. Are you a Chief Keef guy? You seem like
not in a long time. I used to be at least a handful of years ago. The hard thing, I got to be honest.
For real? You were a Chief Keef fan?
I mean, at least tangentially, sure.
Fuck yeah.
I appreciated it. Yeah, why not? We were talking about this on Discord the other day with the pandemic change and with me just simply changing my positions. I don't drive as much anymore. So I just plain don't get to listen to as much music as I used to. That or podcast. It's mostly movies or I'm at work or dealing with kids or whatever.
It's the opposite for me. I listen to a lot of podcasts while we're prepping at the restaurant, but
yeah,
dude, it feels like weird to say this with COVID just fucking all of us up. It actually feels good being back at work. I never thought I would say that in my life, but like, dude, COVID sucked. It was so bad, so bad.
I love how you say "was" like it's not here still.
Nah, dude, I'm immune, man. Nothing Chinese is taking me out. I'm fucking red, white, and blue, baby. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, dude, COVID, like having it and then like having to shut down the restaurant, no income, it sucked. And I was like, man, I don't want to go back to work, but like, I actually had a good time this last week at work. I never thought I would say that, but.
Dylan says, speaking of We Own the City, Don Harvey from Better Call Saul is in We Own the City. And when Better Call was doing reshoots for that last season, he couldn't get out of shooting We Own the City, so he was recast by Pat Healy.
I don't know
Pat
who
Healy
those two are.
You don't know who Pat Healy is?
Can you pull up Pat Healy? Because if I see the face, I'll recognize him.
Yeah. He is from The Innkeepers, and he was in... Oh gosh, what is it called? Cheap Thrills? I think that's the big film that he did a few years ago. It's like I'll bet you $10 if you do this sort of like horror movie.
Let's see.
That's Pat.
Oh, dude, he's great in the show.
And then Don, I haven't started Better Call Saul. We were waiting for it to finish. Now I get to watch the entire thing.
I'm on season 2, I think.
And this is Don Harvey.
Okay, yeah. I know both those dudes by their face. Now that unemployment is down, there's so many idiots that have to deal with in the public that we used to not work.
That's true.
We can't find a place. The kid that gave us COVID got into a car crash. Serves him right. But so we're down at
you know the person that specifically gave you COVID?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's kind of rare.
So I remember eating. So like when the rush is over, and if Taylor hasn't cooked dinner, I don't go home. I stay at the restaurant and I eat. And I sit at a table by myself to stay away from everyone because I've been very anal about COVID, especially since I have a kid.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, and he sits down with no mask on and goes, "Hey, I snuck out and went to a party last night." And I was like, "Cool, dude. I'm trying to eat. I don't care. You're 16. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I'm 30. Just whatever." And then literally almost the exact day, a week later, fever. And then he called and was like, "Hey, I have COVID."
Of course.
So, and I thought I got it from the gym. I thought I got it from boxing. So I called my trainer and I go, "Hey, I tested positive. Everyone at the gym that works there that I was interacting with all tested negative." So we think it came from him.
I got one odd thing to say real quick, and since Ragnar's here, I was going to wait till Thursday to say it, but I put out an interview just yesterday with the guys in Error 4444, and Ragnar commented, and for some reason, it deleted itself from YouTube, either that or Ragnar deleted it. On their website, they have an explanation, and what I wanted to share. I went and checked my emails because sometimes I get like highlight comments emailed to me from YouTube, and I got Ragnar's full comment, even though YouTube deleted it. And it was, "How do you say their name? Is it Error 4444 or what is it?" And I think that's what the question, or no, he was saying, why are they called Error 4444? And on their site, they're talking about the people that view the number 4 as like an unlucky omen. So they called them that as basically like the harbinger of doom. Essentially, it's just it is
like,
a really
it's like
great.
Here, people think 13 is the unlucky number. In Sicily, it's their lucky number, and 7 is the unlucky number over there. So whenever someone orders number 13, I go, "Lucky number 13," and they're like,
Video man, and I've been watching some of your stuff that you emailed me. Appreciate that. And yeah, Sardis brought up there are 2 different ways to say their name. It's either Error 4444 or 4444. Both work.
Or just say 44 because it's 4 times. 4.
One of the owners of the company, he said that when they were first starting it, he used to call it Error 444. He used to only call it with 3 4s himself.
It is kind of a chore to say the 4th one. It's a little bit. It's a little bit of a chore. 4. Yeah, it's a little too much.
Okay. I have kind of a fun little exercise that I want to throw as a movie discussion.
I've worked out 3 times today. I'm not exercising anymore.
It'll be a mental exercise. You'll be fine. I didn't even warn you about this.
There is
an article going around from, I think it was Bloody Disgusting, that is breaking that John Carpenter is saying he is ready to stop his 10-year hiatus and maybe direct a film.
Okay.
So, what do you think Carpenter should make? Essentially, his most modern take since The Ward, but also, should he stay in horror? Should he do a different genre? And who in the modern casting scene would fit in great in a John Carpenter film that's not Kurt Russell?
Big Trouble in Little North Korea. No, seriously though, I would love. I mean, I like his horror stuff, but I like his fun action, like his Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China are so unique. They have such a unique feel to them. I would love to see him do something like that again. I would say do a post-apocalyptic movie so you can have some horror elements. Have it star Tom Hardy. Oh, you know what? This would be a wet dream of mine because I love John Carpenter. Have him direct Blood Meridian. Okay? Have it star Timothée Chalamet, Tom Hardy. What's the guy's name from Lord of the Rings? Aragorn? Big Trouble in Little Italy? Oh, no.
I always get the character names mixed up. Is that Orlando Bloom?
No. The guy that's in Green Book.
Oh, Viggo Mortensen.
Get him. And get someone like Dave Franco in there. Yeah, Viggo. I think he could, if they had a good scriptwriter, I think he would be one of the few handful of directors to really bring that book to screen. I think it's the best book ever written. It's incredible. It's violent. It's gruesome. It's unforgiving, and I would love to see him do it.
That's nice.
Or have him redo the final Twilight movie. There's already decapitations. Could you imagine John Carpenter's twist on that?
But what are there? There are 5 movies, I think, right?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna have to ask Jamie Foxx this because he says
that would be the funniest thing, just to remake the 5th version, the 5th film in a series of 5 films.
So awesome.
So here is my take. I want John Carpenter to finally come and make the Western he has always wanted to make. And obviously Ghost of Mars.
Nerd said it too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said he should do a spaghetti Western.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Ghost of Mars and well, actually Vampires has a lot of it too. And people go back to some of the old, like Assault on Precinct 13 is very much made in the same vein as a Western. I want him not to quite do a spaghetti Western, which obviously if it's not, the classic Italian, whatever, it's not gonna be a spaghetti Western, but I want him to do a version of Bone Tomahawk versus Escape from New York and make it a sort of, not necessarily post-apocalyptic, but more of this culture that whatever that he is focusing on is coming to an end, and some people have to come forward to rescue the entire thing. And the amount that John Carpenter could accelerate that, oh my gosh, like the people that could be in this.
I think you would love that book I'm talking about, man, because it's a Western and it's got that Bone Tomahawk grit to it. I think you would love it.
I would not be surprised. Yeah.
Oh man, dude, if he did, I would love to see him do a series like if he did, like, let's say something like Red Dead and adapted it into like 6 episodes, 6-hour-long episodes, because that story is phenomenal. It's just
so the first step, which is the only thing that I said, and you kind of pulled the rug out from under it because you mentioned him earlier. If he was doing something like Red Dead Redemption or Escape from New York versus Bone Tomahawk, make your lead. So if it's Red Dead, it would be the Marsden character. Make that John Bernthal.
Oh,
tell me he is not a perfect person to sit right alongside Carpenter and go in there and evolve the script with him and make a super likable character that has Jack Burton written all over it for modern audiences.
I want to see Bernthal in a Western now, dude.
Hell yes.
Could you imagine? I mean, not to bring him up again, but I think the 2 manliest actors are Bernthal and Tom Hardy. Could you imagine those 2 on screen together? That would be too much testosterone. It'd be too much. Or what's his tits? Frank Grillo. I think Frank Grillo would be great in the Western. Like as a side character. You know what I mean?
Or the villain. He is the villain against John Bernthal.
What I don't get is that Bernthal he's such a good actor, but he's always like a side character in some of my favorite movies. Like Sicario, he's a side character.
He's barely even a side character in that, which is crazy.
And then he's barely in Wind River, but he ends up being like my favorite character in that movie. And The Bear. He's in The Bear for literally like 45 seconds. But he's so good. But man, he plays the villain in We Own the City so perfectly.
I know that it kind of went off the rails a little bit and everybody hates it and all that now, but John Bernthal in The Walking Dead, which is what made him famous, he is so great, especially in that first season of that show. Just fantastic. I really think that he would serve well in a Carpenter film.
100%. Oh, Fury. Yeah, he's great in Fury.
Yep.
He's like a bad guy, but not at the same time.
That pulls out another one. Shia LaBeouf with John Carpenter could do some fun stuff.
Shia LaBeouf is playing Padre Pio, directed by Abel Ferrara.
Yep.
So for those who don't know, in Sicilian culture, we're very, very Catholic. Padre Pio is a saint who had the stigmata supposedly in his hands. And anytime I got a new car, my grandmother would put Padre Pio on my car.
before you go into that, Celluloid says, how about an original movie? Why the tapping into already existing IPs? I wasn't saying to tap into those films. I was saying to take like the feeling of Escape from New York, but set it in a very similar feeling to Bone Tomahawk. It doesn't need to be attached to either of those. I'm not saying to make John Bernthal like Ricky Burton and have Kurt Russell show up in the beginning to say, this is my son, or something like that. Definitely doesn't need to be a legacy sequel. Or anything like that. It is just very easy to be inspired by those things. And when you see modern takes on films that he could do great with, I think that something like Bone Tomahawk would be a perfect setting for him to direct a full film.
Bring back Gary Busey.
Padre Pio.
Yeah, Padre Pio's he's big in Sicily. Every time I got a new car, my grandmother would put a little plaque of Padre Pio to watch over me. So I'm hoping Shia LaBeouf knocks it out of the park. His body, dude, pull up Padre Pio corpse. His corpse is still preserved in at the Vatican, and he looks great. Looks fantastic.
Might be the weirdest thing I've Googled in quite some time.
His hands are decomposing, but the rest of him is like preserved.
Oh, that is
like pristine.
Odd.
Isn't that weird?
This takes forever when everybody's sitting there waiting for you to do it.
Yeah, look at that. That's a guy who died many, many, many years ago. Look at that.
I originally brought this up.
Yeah. Oh. No, yeah, he's dead in that thing. He's just preserved very well. Is that Pope Francis kissing him? Oh, look at that. Having a bro moment.
Anyways, Shia LaBeouf, I think, could do some fun stuff with Carpenter.
And honestly, when Shia LaBeouf dies, we should do the same preservation methods for him. Because I think he's great. It's fantastic. Allegations aside.
So Heat 2 getting made into a film. Obviously, we got some attachment to some characters, but not everybody from Heat is going to be able to come back, obviously. Who do you want to see in a Heat 2?
Someone said Timothy Chalamet as a young De Niro character.
What was that last name?
Sorry. Timothy Chalamet Ding Dong.
Chalamet?
As a young whatever. I don't get whatever.
Did you say Timothy Chalamet? Or Shyamalan?
Chalamet. As a young
M. Night,
Pacino.
M. Night
Sorry,
and Timothy had a baby.
As a young Pacino. Honestly, I don't want to sound like Andrew Tate here, but I don't think he's masculine. I don't think he's like masculine enough to play Pacino. Like Pacino and De Niro are like very masculine dudes in Heat. Like they are like men. You know what I mean? I can't see Timothy playing a coked out detective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove to not be fully typecast, and obviously he's been in stuff like Dune, so I know that he can pull off some of that, but it's not quite the same thing. He doesn't first of all, he doesn't have the body type to play some of these characters, and then beyond that, he's just stuck in a very similar get young women attracted to him role.
But I don't know. I don't think anyone can match, because the book goes back in time. Because apparently, from what I understand, Pacino, De Niro's character crossed paths before when they were doing a different, like in Chicago, and then like he's been hunting him ever since. So I don't think there's no actors this generation that are Pacino, De Niro level. There really aren't. So that's tough to replace them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not a lot of like modern.
Can you think of anyone that's modern that's like that can match that level?
I mean, I hate to bring him up again, but Tom Hardy probably could with some of these.
Yeah, Tom Hardy, but he can't do a good American accent.
Oh no, definitely not going for that. But if you really wanted to, you could pull some of these that are decent. But Heat just had that special sauce, and a lot of it is because of when it was made. And if they're going to ruin it with CGI, which right now all signs are kind of pointing to yes, I'm really not looking forward to another just take on full on CGI fest for explosions and blood, and Heat doesn't need that.
Heat's such a special movie because it's like it's what, 30 years old? 92, right?
Is it 92?
I think it came out the year I was born. I think it's a 30. I know. I'm young.
Hey, look, a Heat Steelbook. 95.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, I mean, 95, like it's an old movie by like now standards. It's 95, but it doesn't look old. It doesn't feel old. The atmosphere doesn't feel like, there are movies you can tell, oh, that's a 90s movie. He doesn't feel like that. He is like so uniquely its own thing. And I'm glad that Heat 2 is capturing that essence. Like, I read that the dialogue is perfect in Heat 2. So
right.
The drop's fantastic. I think that movie, by the way, underrated. James Gandolfini, Tom Hardy, fucking incredible film. Nice little small film. But I think he is playing a character who I think has autism in that movie. I think he's on the spectrum, and like it doesn't like directly say that, but like the way I think it hints at it and acts at it. And I don't like his accent very much in that movie.
Sardis, there are no Apple TV physical media releases yet.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Wait, no,
sorry, Coda was signed first.
I hope the Tragedy of Macbeth gets like a 4K from Criterion or something, because that movie is fantastic.
I mean, nowadays, why would A24 have anybody else release it besides themselves?
That's true. Well, there's a couple A24 movies that come out on Criterion.
They signed the Uncut Gems when they were going 4K, and then
didn't one just get announced?
Not A24, I don't think. There's a Safdie Brothers film coming out, but it was never put out by A24.
Did Criterion announce their stuff today?
No, yesterday they posted that they were going to post them today, and then at like I think it was like almost 4 p.m. today in Central Time Zone, they said, "Oh, sorry, we're delayed. We will do it again tomorrow." You already posted that it was delayed from yesterday. Well, I mean, that makes no sense.
Ragnar says maybe Flip has some inside knowledge. Do you think 88 Films will require any more Shaw Brothers? I heard they're done releasing them for the moment. Yeah, they said that their contract ran out, and depending on how good these releases are doing, they're going to go back. I feel like they're going to go back. I feel like with Arrow announcing that box set 3 and 4 are confirmed, they're going to move away. They said Kung Fu, so that leaves up Wuxia films, which I can imagine them doing a Wuxia box set. I could see 88 going back. Kung Fu Bob just teased a piece of art, and it's a re-release from 88. So I could see 88 Films re-releasing some stuff that was Region B exclusive to Region A with new packaging. Because a lot of those early Region B releases, if they did get a slipcover, it was just the Chinese poster art. It was just like the original poster art. Not that many special features. Because there's quite a few of those movies that I would love to see brought with a nice, like with the whole package, slipcover, poster, booklet. So hopefully they do.
Ragnar is asking, what 200 Vinegar Syndrome titles do we think will be for sale? They announced that they are having a Summerfest this weekend. 200 titles will be on sale.
Yes, Ryan, can you name all 200 titles that you think are going to be on there?
I can probably name about 25 of them. The specific reason for this is they are highlighting things that they have archived, which is the big difference here. It's not just titles that aren't selling. It's not that they're trying to move things. It's that they are. This feels to me like an AGFA move. And for those that don't know, AGFA is out there because they have this literal giant archive of films that they've the original elements for, that they have archived properly, that they've restored in many of those cases. And Vinegar Syndrome has one of the largest archives in the U.S. as well. And a lot of their titles they have in their archive, but not all of them. There are many of them that like restorations were done overseas, or they used the elements from somebody else to restore themselves and then sent the elements back to them for proper archival. But the ones that they are going to have on sale are the ones that they physically have archival control over. So it's more of to highlight the actual, like the reason Vinegar Syndrome was formed to begin with.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool sale to have.
Yeah.
Is there? God, it feels like there's sales all the fucking time now.
Well, this is the first time this has ever happened for them. They've always done the halfway to Black Friday. They've always done Black Friday. And then I think it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. I think it was last year, though. They had their first adult film sale in February, because that's perfect. They did that again this year. And then out of nowhere, they didn't even really announce this. They just put up a banner and then let it sit there for 10 days. And then they finally acknowledged it publicly and said, hey, this is happening. And then they sent out a newsletter with like, hey, we're getting a VSA, we're getting more Peakorama, some catalog slipcovers. And this came out of nowhere. So
are they starting to release stuff on Amazon? Because their Righting Wrongs is on there.
What do you mean starting to?
So
their stuff has always been available through retail on Amazon.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Pretty much every single boutique you can get their stuff on Amazon for the most part.
Okay.
It just doesn't have the limited stuff like the slipcover or anything.
Do you want to highlight a release?
From Vinegar Syndrome?
No, or just like in general, like we usually do?
Primarily, that's why I wanted to talk about Pink Flamingos earlier. I do think that this is absolutely worth picking up in one of the Criterion sales. I think that this is by far the best release we're ever going to have of this film. There are quite a few decent extras on here. This got a new 4K digital restoration, and it looks great, better than it ever has. Again, the movie, it doesn't quite hold up as well to me, but I think that it's worth the time. And when you can get a Criterion package like that for $20, it's certainly worth it. Other than that, I think that the last couple of weeks have been so busy that I've not been able to deep dive like I normally do. And I'm looking forward to the next one, because some of the pickups that are coming in right now, they leave a lot of room for analysis and deep diving, because there are some great special features coming out lately. There are way more making of documentaries than there used to be.
Package is incredible.
Yep. More releases are coming with books and booklets. I mean, we just talked about Vinegar Syndrome, but I got to be honest, the most exciting thing for me all year this year has been, what the hell are the OCN partner labels putting out this month? Because the titles we are getting from the now, I think we're at 22 Vinegar Syndrome partner labels. They are blowing almost everything else out of the water.
I have to say, I'm more
kind of ridiculous.
Even though I don't pick up everything that they put out, because it's 22 labels, I am more excited every time the partner labels announce stuff than any other label now. Like, I'm just pumped, because there's going to be at least one or two things each time that I'm like, damn, that's cool. Right. I need to pick that up. So, yeah, I want to quickly highlight my favorite TV show of all time. I thought I lost it, found it, thank God, because I now the slipcover is gone. Not a slipcover guy, but I was upset that the slipcover is out of print. So, and this is gonna look silly, but I genuinely mean this. This is my favorite TV show, and that is Mega Beast Investigator Juspian. Yeah, look at that. I watched this show so much, my wife is sick of it. It's a tokusatsu show. 46 discs on standard definition on one Blu-ray disc. Actually looks pretty good. There's no special features on this. But how this show, so there's this fan sub group called Mega Beast, and we're getting tokusatsu releases now with like Ultraman, Kamen Riders coming out. Discotek, who put this out, just announced Gavan, which is in the same series. It's called the Metal Hero series, but the Metal Heroes are mostly like cops. This one is like fantastical. There's like space wizards and giant monsters, and super fucking cool. It's so much fun. But there's a fan sub group called Mega Beast, and they've fan translated a bunch of stuff, but they haven't completed anything until they completed Juspian. So they completed fan subbing Juspian. They did a great job. And then when Discotek got the license, they just paid those guys for their translation work. And so it's called Mega Beast Investigator Juspian. It's just called Juspian, but because the Mega Beast fan subgroup put it out, it's called Mega Beast Investigator Juspian. Fantastic. Flip, give Vicky Webb a shout out. What's up, Vicky Webb? Who's that?
I'm not sure.
Love you though. But yeah, this show's fun. This show's got giant robots. This show's got. Can you pull up real quick? Pull up. It's got the best villain name ever. Satan Gorth. Gorth. Satan
one word?
Gorth. He's like a Japanese Darth Vader. No, it's not all one word. It's 2 words. The evil Satan Gorth. He's so cool. Coolest designs ever. I mean, look at that suit, dude. Look, yeah. Are you laughing at Satan Gorth?
It's like low budget Darth Vader.
Dude, yeah, it's Tokusatsu from what year did this come out? 85? 65? Yeah, look at that, dude. So sick. So cool, dude. That's the robot. Oh, yeah, dude. Look, yeah, click that picture of the 2 robots fighting.
2 robots fighting.
To the left. Yeah. Yeah.
I love how it's not any bigger at all.
That's my shit. I used to have those toys right there, too. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. Cool. Satan Gorth fighting a giant dildo.
No. That's actually Dalian. That's Dalian. That's Juspian's ship. That picture right there with Gorth and Dalian fighting in their robot form. Right next. Yeah, okay, you're done. Okay, but yeah, but I love the songs are so catchy, dude. Oh, Galaxy, oh, Galaxy. Yeah. If Darth Vader was a GoBot, you inspired me. I just bought Mega Beast on Blu-ray. Fuck yeah, yeah, Eric, you're gonna love it, dude. It's so much fun. It's dumb tokusatsu. It's so good. It's everything I want. Guys in monster suits, guys in robot suits. It's so cool. There's an episode though that is really cool. It's about he's like a zombie samurai who comes back from the dead and fights Juspian. It's fucking awesome, dude. It's so cool.
So this is an interesting question that I think we can get into a little bit here. Ragnar says, with 88 films, you can't beat them. They get a slipcover, reversible cover art, a booklet, and a poster, usually all for $20.
And
why can't any of the other labels do that? And if you watch some of the interviews on the Disconnected video channel, obviously, I've interviewed and talked about some of the costs behind some of these. And yes, they do get special features that are brand new. They do sometimes they get brand new translations on captions. We get a poster, we get reversible cover art usually, and now a lot of their stuff is coming with the slipcover. So why do you think no one else is able to release those brand new for less than $22?
It's because 88 Films has Saudi money. No, I'm just kidding. And I know what Bob charges for commercial use on his artwork, and I don't know how they're making money on these releases. It's actually kind of insane how cheap these are.
Yes, I wanted to say primarily because, first of all, they're releasing these in the UK. Most of their stuff so far has not come out in the US. So far, the ones that have come out in the US have still been very fairly priced, thankfully. But keep in mind, licensing costs less in the UK than in the US.
A lot less.
The other thing is a lot of their stuff, they are not going for AAA titles. I know that a lot of these are known by cult fans, martial arts fans that have been into it for a long time, but I'm sorry, that's not the same as Candyman on 4K from Scream Factory or Arrow.
Yeah,
or
these are better than anything that Ryan's gonna say.
I didn't need to attack anybody's taste. I wasn't saying either was better. What I'm getting at is they are simply going to sell less than them, and they have to entice people to buy them.
I wonder if they are making money though on them, and that's maybe why they said if these continue to sell well.
Well, I'm willing to bet that they do make money on every single sale, but it's very little. And with what they have released, you got to admit that there's for every 3 or for great titles. There's another 3 or 4 that are lesser that
Wait,
most
are
people.
we talking about the Shaw Brothers releases?
Or
just in general, like, because I think
everything.
I think their Shaw Brothers line's great, but then you get stuff like Killer Meteors, which isn't great.
Right. So, I mean, that really goes in with what I'm saying. With Shaw Brothers specifically, we already know that they were able to license all of those as a package because they got it from this one license group. They don't have to say, we want to put out Human Lanterns, so can we negotiate a cost for Human Lanterns? They say, we want these movies, which ones can we have? And the group says, we'll give you these 6, but you have to pay us for the rights for these ones as well. And they package them all together. So they're able to put them out there. So on some of these, they make less special features, and they cover the costs on some of these releases with the profits from other releases, and they just kind of spread the love out.
I mean, that's probably why Criterion can put so much shit out. They put out so much shit. Some of the bigger titles probably helps fund the stuff that's not going to sell.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Stalker is helping them put out other crap like Man Pushcart or whatever that movie was called.
There is all kinds of stuff that has sold well for Criterion that came out 10 years ago that is still paying for some of these other films to come out that won't sell very well.
Like, I'm sure the Zatoichi box that's not selling double digits every month, but I'm sure stuff like The Irishman is, or stuff like Stalker is, and my favorite film.
Yes. The hard part with Criterion is that it's kind of apples to oranges there, because if you go any other month of the year besides the 2 sale months, it's $40 for a standard release.
A lot of money. And then $50 for 4K,
right? Yes.
Man, I really want to get I really want to get Heat now in 4K. Fuck.
Yes.
Do I get Heat or do I get the new Madden?
Definitely a movie. Lawn Furniture wants to know, is either of us going to get The Changeling on 4K? I'll answer for Flip. His answer is no. He does not flock to horror movies, even though every single one he watches, he ends up loving. Am I going to get The Changeling on 4K? Maybe eventually. I think right now I am not going to at first. I think if Second Sight puts it out, because they also put it out on Blu-ray, I would consider it then. I don't know. The Severin announcements this month are an interesting mixed bag.
Is Changeling an old movie?
Changeling is an old movie.
Ooh. Someone said if you speak in English and Portuguese.
You can't even read the what they said in English, because they said if you speak a sentence in Portuguese.
Well, I just gotta say, Portuguese is like it's like dumber Spanish. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love all the Portuguese people.
Sandal wants to know, is Stalker your favorite film?
Sandal, you've been around enough that you know the meme. Come on, you gotta know. Are you joking?
Flip hates Tarkovsky.
I hate Tarkovsky.
Sardis wanted to highlight that back in the day, he paid $60 for a beta bootleg of Alien from a guy at a gas station.
Dude, I didn't realize how expensive VHSs were back in the day either. Like,
brand new VHSs when they first came out were $100. And we're not talking 2022 money. We're talking 1986 money and stuff.
That's a lot of money. And then video games back then were like $90.
Yep.
Fucking crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely wild.
That's why you would get a Nintendo with the original Super Mario Brothers and play that 314 times from start to finish.
Super Nintendo, I had like 3 games, and it was like Link to the Past, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and I think Final Fantasy 6. But I wore those games out, man.
Yep.
I honestly think Severin has some of the weakest releases and boutiques labels I collect. I agree with you, Michael. Because I think I only own the ones Ryan bought for me for Christmas last year.
With Severin, I gotta say, they are one of the labels that is really difficult to speak on generally, because they have some of the highest highs and probably the absolute lowest lows. When they are high quality, like best releases, they're incredible. When they are the bottom of the barrel, they are not great. And I got to admit, I put Severin I believe is my second highest rated label last year, they're probably not even going to crack like top 8 or 9 this year for me. I don't see how they would honestly be in like the top 10 or 12.
Dustin says, Flip, what are 3 Discotheque releases you would recommend? So my taste is weird. Discotheque releases a lot of like cult stuff, like Urusei Yatsura, City Hunter, Lupin the Third. But I like mecha stuff, like old school mecha stuff. So Antoku. So I would say Just Being is my favorite release that they've ever done. Then Dan Kuga is a really good mech show. And then if you want some puppets, I would say Starfleet is a really good puppet show. Which I think we got it in the US as X Bomber, which Sardis might know X Bomber. Sardis seems to know a lot of obscure stuff.
Sardis has joined the Disconnected Patreon, and now we are getting updates in the Discord about like these random underseen Russian films that he's watching, and it's one of the highlights of my days just to hear the cinema that I would love to be able to see. And I mean, there's just random things that 27 people. A lot of stuff's on YouTube, a lot of stuff on DVD or bought elsewhere that they're not great releases, but they got subs. And
I watched a Russian movie I forgot to talk about. It's about I forgot what it was called, but it's about a kid who's deaf, and he goes. The whole movie's in sign language. He's deaf. He goes to a school for the deaf where it's like run by some shitheads, and they he gets initiated in part of a gang, and they give him a young girl to pimp out, and he ends up falling in love with her. It's a really good movie. It was like really sad.
Interesting. What is coming up that you're excited about?
Gavan from Discotheque. I'm really fucking pumped that I can talk about that because that's been a release that they've had scheduled for a couple of years now. Shaw Brothers, obviously, that new Shaw Scope set. I love the red. I think the red is a lot more attractive than the blue. I gotta say look at that. I love that red. Overall, I think the movies, I don't think there's a bad movie in that bunch. In the second box set. The first one's got Mighty Peking Man, which I don't like, but I think the highs in the first box set are a lot higher for me personally. 5 Deadly Venoms, Crippled Avengers, Heroes of the East. I think the highlights in the first box set are fantastic. I think the second box set, I'm glad that I think we have all of Larkar Long's Shaw Brothers stuff now with the second box set. I think between that and 88 Films, I think we have them. I think we have all the stuff. Really surprised they put Shaolin, the Jet Li movie. It's the only Jet Li movie. I think it's his first leading role as a Shaw Bros movie. It's in that set. Shaolin something. Shaolin Martial Arts, I think.
I'm looking at the titles. Shaolin Martial Arts. There's so many films in this.
Yeah, there's a lot. Do you want to pull up a list and we can talk about them?
Let me share that screen again that I was just on, which is my Instagram for the announcements.
Follow Disconnected on Instagram for all your announcements.
We begin with Kung Fu Master Larkar Long's instant classic, The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, in which his adopted brother, Gordon Liu, achieved overnight stardom as the young man who unexpectedly finds spiritual enlightenment on the path to vengeance.
Fantastic.
Lau and Liu followed the original with 2 comically inventive sequels, Return to the 36th Chamber and Disciples of the 36th Chamber.
So I have to say the second one is good. The third one is I think that's the weakest film in that box set. I don't think it's as much of a low point as Mighty Peking Man, but it's still, I think it's like the sore thumb out of those 14 films.
We've got Mad Monkey Kung Fu and 5 Super Fighters.
5 Super Fighters is very unexpected, very cool. Mad Monkey Kung Fu, not to get confused with Monkey Kung Fu, which 88 Films put out. They came out in time 5 months apart, I believe. Mad Monkey is fucking great, though. Absolutely fantastic.
Then we go into the Venom Mob stuff. We got Invincible Shaolin, The Kid with the Golden Arm,
Yes,
Magnificent Ruffians, and the all-star 10 Tigers of Kwangtung, co-starring Tai Lung and Fu Sheng.
So I think Magnificent Ruffians is my least favorite Venom Mob film. I still think it's very good. It's too acrobatic for me. I think Crippled Avengers was very acrobatic, but it works in that film. Magnificent Ruffians, not so much. But 10 Tigers of Kwangtung and Kid with the Golden Arm, fucking great films. Great films.
Good looking set.
What are the other movies?
I think that's all of them.
No, there's like maybe 5 more.
Oh, My Young Auntie.
Yes, great.
Mercenaries from Hong Kong.
Yeah, good movie.
And of course, The Boxer's Omen.
There's not. I thought the Jet Li movie.
Martial Arts of Shaolin is the last one.
There you go. Yep. So, Boxer's Omen. I think you're gonna love that movie, Ryan. It's a horror movie. It's great. It's fantastic. I think that box set's incredible. I'm really pumped to see what else they do. Hey, Dustin, you got good taste.
Everybody out there says it's not red, it's orange, and I would have to agree with them.
Hey, everyone out there can just go fuck themselves. So you guys are all wrong. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I love you guys. Yeah, Eric asked, multiple times on this stream, Boxer's Omen, and he's finally getting it. Oh God, it's so good, dude. I'm so fucking pumped.
I can't believe that they just up and dropped. Yeah, we've got a lot more coming. Look for volumes 3 and 4.
Yeah, that was wild to me. That's I think that's the big takeaway. We knew most of the titles in this set already. I think the big takeaway was, and then they said we're gonna move away from Kung Fu. So,
right.
So they specifically said no opera. Thank God, because opera from that time period in Chinese.
And I think they said no opera or musicals.
Thank God. But there's so many fucking war movies that they could do, crime movies, wuxia, like, oh man, so awesome. So pumped.
Good looking set.
You know what else is a good looking set? Me and you.
Oh.
Me and you. You and me. You and I.
And we've not been on very much over the last couple of months, so it's always nice to see your beautiful face. Everybody, I'm so glad you're here. It has been a fun night. I got to admit, it's been a very rough and tiring couple of weeks in this house, and looking forward to this was something that I could not wait for. So I appreciate that. Another thing I'm looking forward to this week, we talked about the Vinegar Syndrome sale. I will be live as that sale goes on Thursday. If you want to come hang out, please do. We'll talk about these new Picorama titles and catalog slipcovers and everything else that's making the waves out there. Sounds kind of cool that they're doing a bunch of brand new merch stuff and highlighting some of their actual artists behind it. Like they're giving one of their older titles, they allowed somebody to come in and make, it sounds like a poster with completely different art, but inspired by their cover art that they had. Yeah.
I wish more companies would put out artwork for the stuff that they release. I guess posters or t-shirts or something.
I know that we have shit on Criterion more times than we can both count on this channel, but there are a handful of things that if they release the cover art, I would be so broke. Like, obviously, the main one to point out is the Godzilla set. Like, I hate that Godzilla set, but if I had that Technicolor looking poster on my wall, dude, I would always just adore
I would say the Zatoichi, just the front, like the sticker that's supposed to come off, where it's just him. Like, I love that. I think that's cool. The Bruce Lee stuff, that box set's design was super incredible.
Yep.
That same artist did a really cool Mike Tyson design. That's really rad.
Yeah, Criterion doesn't do that enough at all.
It's good to see you, Stendhal. I love you. I love Sardis. I love Ragnar. I love all you motherfuckers. You guys are awesome.
We appreciate you all. We have gone a little longer than we even expected to, but it's nice because we got to spend time with all of you. We'll see you again in a couple weeks, and I'm looking forward to be back into the swing of things a little bit. I've got a lot coming out on my channel. Hopefully Flip does too in the next few weeks, so
also,
make sure you subscribe.
if you guys have children or know someone that has children, my wife makes teething rings and other stuff on her Etsy page called Good Givings. So check that out. These nice little teething rings. They're really fluffy. They're cool. I don't know. I just picked one up and was like, oh yeah, my wife makes some cool stuff.
Hey, we will see you on, holy God, I just looked at the date. The next time we're going to see everybody is on August 30th.
Oh yeah.
It will basically be September.
Oh yeah. There's so many boxing matches that are happening between now and then. I'll be so pumped to talk about one of them.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
I'll be live on Thursday. See you then.